Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into something really crucial for anyone in logistics. Key performance indicators, or KPIs, specifically for trucking. Imagine you're running a fleet. Trucks are moving, but are they really performing? Are you maybe leaving money on the table? Our mission today is to give you that kind of X-ray vision. We're looking at how tracking specific numbers can totally transform a fleet's efficiency, its safety, and, its profitability. Think of KPIs like a report card for your fleet. It shows you what's working well and maybe where there's room to improve, making the complex stuff clear.
That's a great way to put it. In trucking, KPIs are just these measurable values, right? They tell you exactly how your fleet is doing. And they're critical because, well, when you track them consistently, you stop guessing. You start making decisions based on actual data. This means better safety for drivers, smarter fuel use, and making sure the business is, actually thriving, not just getting by. Consistent checking really is the difference maker.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's get into the core KPIs. It's fascinating how these, seemingly small numbers can have such huge impacts. First up, on-time delivery rate, OTD. This measures the percentage of deliveries arriving when promised. Sounds simple, but is there a point where chasing that perfect score, like 100%, costs you more elsewhere? Maybe driver burnout or pushing trucks too hard?
That's a really important question. Balance is definitely key. Customers expect their stuff on time, absolutely.
Okay.
But pushing for 100% at all costs, probably not smart. The formula is simple. On-time deliveries divided by total deliveries times 100. So, 950 out of 1,000 gets you 95%. That 95 to 98% target range for good fleets. It acknowledges things happen. Weather, traffic, unexpected repairs. Pushing harder than that, you might get speeding, more wear and tear, stressed drivers. And that drives up other costs, fuel, maintenance, maybe even accidents.
Okay. So optimize, don't chase perfection blindly.
Exactly. You track it with delivery logs, maybe software, or even careful manual records if you're smaller.
Makes sense. So OTD keeps customers happy. But once the delivery is done, the big question is, did you actually make money on that run? Which brings us right to the financials. Cost per mile, revenue per mile, and that really critical one, profit per mile.
Right. Cost per mile, CPM, you take all your costs, fuel, maintenance, driver pay, insurance, the truck losing value over time, everything divide that by total miles driven. So using that example, $12,325 in costs over 8,542 miles. That's about $1.44 spent per mile. Lower is better, obviously. A good target is maybe $1.50 or less.
And what's often the biggest hidden cost there? Is it always fuel?
Good question. Fuel's huge, but often the really big hidden costs are things like too much idle time, unexpected breakdowns, maybe inefficient routes, adding extra miles. Every minute a truck sits idling, it's not just fuel. It's depreciation, it's driver wages for time that's not productive. That stuff adds up fast, maybe even more than fuel price swings.
Got it. So CPM is what it costs you. What about what you earn?
Okay, so then you have revenue per mile, RPM. That's your total revenue divided by total miles driven. Pretty simple. And the number everyone really cares about. Profit per mile, PPM, that's just RPM minus CPM. That tells you the actual cash you made on every single mile driven.
That's powerful, knowing exactly what each mile earns you. Speaking of miles driven, or maybe not driven, how much those expensive trucks actually working versus just, sitting parked? That's fleet utilization rate, right?
Exactly. And this isn't just a percentage on a spreadsheet. This measures how hard your very expensive assets are working for you. An idle truck, it's costing you money, insurance, depreciation, maybe parking fees, but it's bringing in zero income.
So how do you track that?
You can calculate it a couple of ways. Maybe active hours or miles divided by the total available hours or miles times 100. Or another way is your total fleet miles driven divided by the number of trucks you have times their expected average miles. Think about it. Boosting that percentage just a little means more revenue without buying another truck. Top fleets, they're aiming for 80–90%, maybe even higher. Underutilized trucks just bleed money.
And when they're running, fuel is almost always the biggest line item expense. So fuel efficiency, that's non-negotiable.
Absolutely critical. We look at miles per gallon MPG, total miles driven divided by gallons used. For big rigs, maybe 6.5 to 8 MPG is a decent goal. Even tiny improvements here save a lot of money over a year.
And the cost side of that.
Right, fuel cost per mile, total fuel cost divided by total miles. Simple math, but crucial. Higher MPG, lower fuel cost per mile, that's better efficiency. Modern fleets track this really closely with fuel cards, telematics.
Yeah.
You get real-time data.
Okay, here's one I find really interesting from an efficiency standpoint, and it feels like a huge potential profit leak. Deadhead miles. Driving empty. It seems like such an obvious drain, but I imagine it's super hard to get rid of completely. What's the biggest challenge there, and what are the best fleets doing about it?
You nailed it. Deadhead or empty miles rate. It's the percentage of miles driven with no paying cargo, no revenue coming in, but all the costs are still ticking up: fuel, driver pay, wear and tear.
How's it calculated?
Deadhead miles divided by your total miles times 100. So like 2,260 empty miles out of 18,820 total. That's 12% deadhead. The goal is definitely under 12%. The biggest hurdle, often just finding a good backhaul, a return load, especially if you're delivering to an area with less outbound freight.
So what's the secret sauce for the top performers?
It's not just about reducing deadhead anymore, it's about turning it into something useful. Top fleets are using smart tech AI load boards, advanced matching platforms to find those backhauls proactively, sometimes before the first load is even dropped off.
Wow, turning a cost center into a revenue stream.
Exactly. They're turning what used to be pure cost into potentially more profit. You need good GPS data and logs to track this accurately, of course.
Okay. Another cost that can creep up is when trucks aren't moving because they're broken. Maintenance downtime.
Yeah, and this one can really hurt. It's the time your vehicles are out of service for repairs. A truck in the shop isn't earning. It directly cuts your fleet's ability to deliver jobs and make money. The formula is basically time grounded divided by total operating time times 100. You track this with maintenance logs or increasingly telematics that can even flag potential issues before a breakdown happens.
Predictive maintenance, right?
Exactly, keep them rolling.
So we've got all these individual pieces.
Yeah.
On time, cost per mile, utilization, downtime. But how do you pull it all together to see if the whole business is healthy?
That's where the operating ratio, or OR, comes in. It's a big picture number. OR basically tells you how much of your revenue is eaten up just by the costs of running the business. It's a key measure of overall efficiency. Lower is always better.
How do you figure that one out?
You divide your total operating costs by your operating revenue, then multiply by 100. The magic number is 100%. If your OR is under 100, you're profitable. If it's over 100, you're spending more than you're making. It's like the ultimate financial health check for the fleet.
Got it. So it shows if the core operation's making money.
Precisely. Then there's another utilization metric, load utilization or cargo utilization. This looks at how full the truck actually is when it's loaded. Are you using the available space efficiently by weight or volume?
Right, maximizing payload.
Exactly. More goods per trip means more revenue per trip. Formula is roughly weight of goods divided by the truck's max capacity times 100. You're generally aiming for, say, 75–85% capacity used, maybe even closer to 90% ideally. No point hauling air if you don't have to.
Makes perfect sense. Maximize every trip. But, it's crucial to remember not all KPIs are just about dollars and cents. Some are about lives, risk, safety metrics. I imagine if a fleet is really focused on cutting costs, maybe safety could be tempting to skimp on. What's the real long-term danger there?
That's a really critical point because compromising safety, even slightly, has huge, long-lasting costs that go way beyond just fixing a truck. Sure, safety KPIs impact the bottom line indirectly, but they are absolutely paramount. Things like days since the last incident or the total recordable injury frequency rate, even just the number of safety hazards reported by drivers.
And the impact of ignoring these.
It's massive. Higher insurance costs, big liability claims, hefty fines, more regulatory headaches, and tragically, people getting hurt or worse. One major accident can literally bankrupt a smaller fleet.
Wow.
Yeah. A good target is something like less than one accident per 100,000 miles. You track this through incident reports, driver feedback, and increasingly those advanced safety systems monitoring driving behavior.
So investing in safety isn't an expense.
It's absolutely an investment. It saves money, time, and most importantly, it protects people.
Okay, it's a really solid list of what to track. Now, the practical side. How do fleets actually track all this? For someone with, say, 5 or 10 trucks, is fancy fleet management software worth the cost and effort compared to just using spreadsheets really well?
That's a common question, and honestly, it depends a bit on their goals and how complex things are now. For a really small operation, maybe you start with manual logs, paper, spreadsheets. It's cheap upfront, but it takes a lot of time, and let's be honest, errors happen.
Right. Easy to miss things or make typos.
Exactly. But for most companies looking to grow or just operate more efficiently, investing in fleet management software, things like Fleetio, Omnitrax, ClickUp usually pays off. These systems automate so much of the KPI tracking, they pull data directly from the trucks using telematics.
Telematics, those little devices in the trucks.
Yeah, small devices that track tons of detail. Speed, idle time, hard braking, cornering, real-time fuel use, all automatically uploaded to the software. There's an initial cost, sure, and a bit of a learning curve, but the time saved, the accuracy, the depth of insight you get, it typically pays for itself pretty quickly. Even for a fleet that's not huge, you just can't get that level of precision manually.
So connecting this all back to the big picture,
hmm
why does tracking all these numbers consistently matter so much? Beyond just knowing the scores, what's the real benefit?
It really comes down to building a business that's proactive, tough, and profitable. First, you save money. Spotting problems early, like too many deadhead miles or fuel being wasted by aggressive driving before they drain your bank account.
Okay, saving money. What else?
Second, you keep customers happy. Good on-time delivery rates mean repeat business, good word of mouth. That's gold in this industry.
Makes sense.
Third, you improve safety. Fewer accidents, trucks kept in better shape that keeps everyone safer, lowers insurance, and makes drivers feel valued, which helps with retention.
And the fourth,
And maybe the most important, you make smart decisions. With solid data, you know exactly where to focus your efforts. Is it route planning, driver training, investing in newer trucks? The data guides you. You move from just reacting to fires to actually building strategically.
okay, that makes the why very clear. But this raises the next big question. Once you have this data, what can you actually do to improve the numbers? Trucking has so many variables.
Right, it's about taking action. There are concrete steps. First, plan your loads really carefully. Always be thinking about that return trip. Can you get a backhaul to kill those empty miles? Using those smart load boards helps a lot here.
Okay, better load planning.
Second, use your GPS and routing tools strategically. Find the fastest, least congested, most fuel-efficient routes. Factor in real-time traffic.
Smart routing, got it.
Third, train your drivers, not just on safety rules, but on fuel-saving habits, smooth driving, less idling, consistent speed. It adds up.
Driver training, crucial.
Fourth, stay on top of maintenance. Preventive maintenance avoids those costly breakdowns, keeps you legal, and makes trucks last longer. Don't wait for things to break.
Proactive maintenance. And fifth,
Finally, listen to your drivers. They're out there every day. They see inefficiencies, they spot potential safety issues often before anyone else. Happy drivers are also less likely to leave, cutting your turnover costs.
that makes a lot of sense. They're your eyes and ears.
Absolutely. It's like managing a sports team, right? Every little adjustment, every small win based on the data, it all adds up to better performance over the long haul, consistent improvement.
It really is incredible how focusing on these KPIs can transform a fleet. As we've talked about, it seems success boils down to consistency, tracking diligently, and then making those continuous data-driven improvements.
Exactly that. Focus on these core metrics, and you unlock huge benefits, lower costs, faster deliveries, your trucks working harder, happier customers. And the underlying ideas aren't super complex. It's about disciplined focus on what the numbers are telling you. What's really powerful is how this makes complex operations manageable. You don't need a PhD to see the benefits when you consistently track and improve. It's just about paying attention and letting the data guide you towards success.